Ever felt like you're stuck in the darkest place imaginable? Maybe it's a job you hate, a relationship that's crumbling, or just that feeling of being completely and utterly lost. You feel like a prisoner, trapped by your circumstances. Well, today, we're diving into a story about a man who was a literal prisoner, but who found a way to shine even in the darkest dungeon. This is the story of Joseph, and trust me, it's not just some ancient tale. It's a powerful lesson on how your attitude and your gifts can change everything, no matter where you are. So let's set the scene. Imagine the worst place in all of ancient Egypt, the royal prison. It's not a country club. We're talking dark, damp, cold stone walls. The kind of place hope goes to die. And this is where we find Joseph. He was sold into slavery by his own brothers, falsely accused of a crime he didn't commit, and now he's rotting in a Pharaoh's dungeon. It would be so easy for him to be bitter, angry, and resentful. He could spend his days cursing his fate, huddled in a corner, consumed by darkness. But that's not Joseph. What's incredible is that even here, in this pit of despair, Joseph's true character, his inner light, couldn't be extinguished. The Bible tells us that the Lord was with Joseph and showed him steadfast love and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. Think about that. Even in prison, his integrity and his spirit were so undeniable that the warden, the guy in charge of this miserable place, saw something special in him. This wasn't just a lucky break. The warden didn't just feel sorry for him. He saw Joseph's competence, his trustworthiness, his unwavering spirit. He saw a leader. So, what does he do? He hands Joseph a set of keys. He essentially says, "You know what? You're in charge now." Joseph, the prisoner, is put in charge of all the other prisoners. He goes from being at the bottom of the barrel to running the entire operation. Now, Joseph could have used this newfound power for himself. He could have lorded it over the other inmates, taken the best food, the warmest blanket. But again, that's not who he is. Instead, we see him bringing order to the chaos. He's not just a manager. He's a servant leader. We see him walking the corridors, not with a swagger, but with purpose. He hands bread to a shivering prisoner, offering not just food, but a moment of human kindness. He checks the locks, ensuring security and order. He organizes the straw for bedding, trying to bring a small measure of comfort to this uncomfortable place. He is literally a light in the darkness, transforming a place of punishment into a community with structure and a sliver of dignity. He wasn't just waiting for his circumstances to change. He was changing his circumstances from the inside out. He took the worst situation imaginable and used his gifts to make it better, not just for himself, but for everyone around him. It's such a powerful reminder that your environment doesn't have to define you. Your character does. And then, one day, the routine is broken. The heavy iron door of the prison screeches open. It's a sound that probably makes everyone's heart stop. Two guards shove a couple of new inmates inside. But these aren't your typical criminals. You can tell immediately they're from a different world. They're dressed in what used to be fine linen, now tattered and dirty. They look absolutely terrified, completely out of their element. One is fidgety and nervous, wringing his hands. The other is sullen and gloomy, staring at the floor as if the world has ended. These men are the chief cupbearer and the chief baker of Pharaoh himself. These are top-ranking officials from the royal court. One moment they're serving the most powerful man in the world, living in luxury, and the next they're thrown into this dungeon with the common criminals. The warden turns to Joseph, his trusted second-in-command, and says, "Joseph, watch these two closely. They have offended Pharaoh himself. The stakes just got a lot higher. These aren't just any prisoners. They are political prisoners, direct links to the palace and to the very man who holds the key to Joseph's freedom." Joseph, who has been faithfully serving in obscurity, is about to come face to face with an opportunity he never could have predicted. The darkness of the prison is about to be pierced by a glimmer of a much bigger plan, a plan that has been unfolding all along. What happens when these two powerful, desperate men meet the one prisoner who holds a key, not just to the prison cells, but to their very futures? That's where the story gets really interesting. Joseph's journey is far from over. In fact, it's just getting started. He's been honing his skills, proving his character in the shadows, and now his moment in the spotlight is about to arrive, all because he chose to be a light in the darkest of places. This story is a challenge to all of us. When you find yourself in a prison, a difficult situation you can't seem to escape, what do? Do you surrender to the darkness? Or do you, like Joseph, look for ways to serve, to lead, and to shine? Because sometimes, the key to getting out of your prison is to first learn how to be a light inside of it. Thanks so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into timeless stories that can change the way you see your own life. Drop a comment below and let me know about a time you tried to be a light in a dark situation. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next video. The dungeon was quiet, save for the steady dripping of water from the stone ceiling. The air was thick, gray, and stale. But Joseph moved with a rhythm that defied the gloom. He wasn't slumped over like the others. He carried a clay pitcher and a rough cloth as he approached the corner cell where the chief cupbearer and the chief baker were held. They weren't sleeping. They were sitting on the cold floor, their backs against the rough-hewn stone. The cupbearer was staring blankly at a spiderweb in the corner. The baker had his head buried in his knees, rocking slightly back and forth. Joseph unlocked the grate with a heavy clank and stepped inside. Morning is broken, my friends. Though down here, the sun takes its time to visit. He poured water into 2 wooden cups. The sound of the water splashing was the only noise in the room. He offered a cup to the cupbearer, but the man didn't move. He didn't even blink. Joseph paused, setting the cup down gently beside him. He moved to the baker. You must drink. The air is dry today. The baker stopped rocking, but didn't look up. A heavy, suffocating silence hung between them. Usually, the cupbearer would ask about the weather, or the baker would complain about the staleness of the prison bread. But today, nothing. Joseph stepped back, picking up a broom to sweep the dust near the entrance. He watched them. He studied them. He saw not just sadness, but a trembling kind of fear. He stopped sweeping, leaned the broom against the wall, and walked over, crouching down so he was at eye level with them. I have seen you angry at the guards. I have seen you weep for your families. I have seen you pace this floor until your feet bled, cursing the name of Potiphar. But I have never seen you like this. The cupbearer slowly turned his head. His eyes were red-rimmed, wide, and hollow. He looked like a man who had seen a ghost. Why do you look so sad today? The cupbearer let out a shuddering breath, a sound like a dry leaf crumbling. Sad? Sadness is for when you miss a meal, Joseph. Sadness is for when the wine is sour. This is not sadness. It is doom. The baker's voice was muffled from his knees. Doom? You are safe within these walls. No executioner has come. The executioner came in the night, Joseph. His voice was rising, shaky. He came inside our minds. Joseph sat fully on the floor now, crossing his legs. He signaled that he was not going anywhere. He was ready to listen. Speak plainly. What happened in the night? The cupbearer looked at the baker, then back to Joseph. We both had dreams last night. Joseph nodded. Sleep often brings images of the day. Our worries follow us into the dark. No, this was not the day's worry. This was distinct, vivid. It was as if I was awake, yet I was not. I could smell the air in the dream. I could feel the weight of objects in my hands. The baker finally looked up, his face pale, and I could feel the wind. It was cold. The cupbearer clutched his hair in frustration. But that is not the worst of it. In the palace, if Pharaoh dreams, or if the high officials dream, there are men. Wise men, magicians, men who study the stars and the scrolls. They carry the keys to the hidden world. They are not here. There is no one here, just rats and stone and us. We have had the dreams, Joseph. The gods have spoken to us in the language of the night, but we are deaf. We don't know what they mean. We have the message, but we cannot read the seal. It is torture. It is better to have no dream than a dream you cannot understand. Is it a warning? Is it a promise? Is it death? The cupbearer stood up abruptly, pacing the small cell. If I were in the court, I would summon the chief magician. He would cast the bones. He would tell me, "Peace, it is well." But here, I am trapped with the riddle. Joseph watched the cupbearer pace. He waited for the panic to crest. When the cupbearer finally leaned against the wall, exhausted, Joseph spoke. His voice was calm, cutting through the panic like a cool breeze. "You speak of magicians. You speak of men who cast bones in red stars. They are the interpreters. Are they? Or are they merely guessers?" Joseph stood up slowly. He walked to the small barred window, where a single beam of light cut through the dust motes. My grandfather, Isaac, and his father, Abraham, they did not need magicians. They did not need men in fancy robes to tell them what was true. He turned back to the prisoners, smiling gently. "Do not interpretations belong to God?" The cupbearer blinked, confused. "Your God? The Hebrew God? The only God, the one who knits the mind together in the womb, the one who paints the images of the night. If he sends the message, does he not also hold the key?" Joseph stepped closer, placing a hand on the cupbearer's shoulder. "Magicians guess. They use tricks, but God knows. He does not need a palace. He does not need a temple. He is here, in this prison, just as surely as he is in Pharaoh's court." The baker looked up, skepticism warring with desperation in his eyes. "And does your God speak to prisoners? To men who have fallen?" "My God speaks to those who listen." A silence fell again, but this time it was not heavy. It was pregnant with possibility. The cupbearer looked at Joseph's hand on his shoulder. He saw the confidence in Joseph's eyes, a confidence not born of arrogance, but of relationship. "You really think? You could know? It is not I who knows. I am but a servant. But if God wills it, he will make it known to me." Joseph gestured to the floor, inviting them to sit again. "Come, sit. Do not let these visions torment you. If they are from God, they are truth. And truth is better than the unknown." The cupbearer let out a long breath, his shoulders dropping. He looked at the baker. The baker nodded, a slow, singular movement. His voice was a whisper. Okay, I will tell you." Joseph smiled, a warm, encouraging expression. "Tell me your dreams. Have you ever had a dream so vivid it felt real? What if that dream held the key to your future?" Today, we're diving back into our story, deep within the cold, damp walls of an Egyptian prison. Two men, once high-ranking officials in Pharaoh's court, are now prisoners, haunted by strange dreams. Last time, we met the baker, whose dream foretold a grim fate. Now, it's the cupbearer's turn. Will his dream bring hope or despair? Let's find out. Imagine the scene. The cupbearer, his eyes wide with a mix of fear and excitement, stands before Joseph. He can't just sit still. He has to act it out. "In my dream," he begins, his hands painting a picture in the air. "There was a vine right in front of me." As he speaks, we're pulled into his dream world. Before our eyes, a single magical vine sprouts from the barren stone floor. It's not an ordinary plant. It glows with a soft, ethereal light, twisting and growing at an impossible speed. Then something incredible happens. The vine sprouts 3 distinct branches. No sooner have the branches appeared than they begin to bud. The buds burst into blossoms, and in a matter of seconds, clusters of deep purple grapes hang heavy and ripe. It's a miracle of nature, compressed into a single moment. The cupbearer's voice continues, filled with wonder. As soon as it budded, the grapes ripened. He tells Joseph how, in the dream, Pharaoh's own golden cup was in his hand. He describes reaching out, taking the plump grapes, and squeezing their rich juice directly into the goblet. The final act of his dream is simple yet profound. He places the cup back into the hand of Pharaoh. As the dream sequence fades, we're back in the stark reality of the prison cell. The cupbearer looks at Joseph, his breath held, waiting for the verdict. Joseph doesn't hesitate. His face is calm, his gaze direct. He knows exactly what the dream means. This is the interpretation, he says with quiet confidence. The 3 branches are 3 days. You can feel the tension in the air brake, replaced by a surge of hope. Within 3 days, Joseph continues, Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore you to your position. The words are like a key unlocking the cupbearer's chains. You will put his cup in his hand again, Joseph assures him, just as you used to. The relief is overwhelming. The cupbearer, a man who just moments ago was facing a future of uncertainty and despair, collapses into tears of joy. He lunges forward, grabbing Joseph's hands, his gratitude overflowing. For him, this isn't just an interpretation. It's a lifeline. It's the promise of freedom, of returning to his life, his family, his honor. It's a second chance delivered by a young man in a dungeon. But in this moment of shared relief, the dynamic shifts. For the first time, we see a crack in Joseph's strong exterior. His voice drops, and a profound vulnerability surfaces. But please, he pleads, his grip on the cupbearer's hands tightening. When it goes well with you, remember me. It's a simple request, but it carries the weight of years of injustice. Mention me to Pharaoh, he says, his eyes begging for a flicker of hope for himself. Get me out of this prison. Then, the full depth of his pain pours out. I was stolen from my land, he confesses, the words heavy with the memory of betrayal by his own brothers. And I have done nothing to deserve this dungeon. He's not just a prisoner. He's an innocent man, a victim of jealousy and lies, who has languished in darkness for far too long. He interpreted a dream of freedom for another, while being trapped himself. His only hope now rests on the promise of this man, whose future he just secured. The cupbearer, still emotional, but now filled with purpose, looks Joseph straight in the eye. He makes a solemn vow. I promise, he declares with conviction, I will not forget. I will tell him. His words hang in the air, a beacon of hope in the suffocating darkness of the prison. The cupbearer will be free in 3 days. But what about Joseph? Will the cupbearer keep his promise? Or will Joseph's act of kindness be forgotten as soon as the prison gates are left behind? This scene is so powerful because it contrasts hope and despair, freedom and imprisonment. Joseph, the dream interpreter, gives the gift of a future to someone else, while his own hangs in the balance, dependent on a simple act of remembrance. It raises a huge question. What happens when we are in a position to help someone who has helped us? Do we follow through? Or does our own good fortune make us forgetful? The cupbearer's promise is the cliffhanger. The fate of our hero rests on it. So, what do you think? Will the cupbearer remember Joseph? Or will the comfort of the palace erase the memory of the dungeon? This is a pivotal moment in the story, and the suspense is real. We'll have to wait and see if this promise is kept. Thanks so much for watching and exploring this incredible story with me. If you're enjoying this series, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. See you in the next video. Hello everyone, and welcome back to our deep dive into one of the most compelling stories ever told. Today, we're exploring a scene that is just chilling to the bone, a moment where hope and horror collide in the darkness of an Egyptian prison. We're talking about Joseph and his interpretation of the baker's dream. So let's set the stage. Joseph is in prison, falsely accused, but his gift for interpreting dreams hasn't left him. He's just given the royal cupbearer a fantastic interpretation. In 3 days, he'll be restored to his position. The cupbearer is overjoyed, and understandably so. Standing right, there is the chief baker, who's also been languishing in this dungeon. Seeing the positive outcome for his friend, he thinks, hey, maybe I'll get some good news too. It's a very human reaction, right? He's looking for that glimmer of light in a very dark place. So the baker steps forward, a bit of hope in his eyes, and he shares his own dream. He says, I had a dream too. In my dream, I had 3 white baskets on my head. In the top basket, there were all sorts of baked goods, all the best stuff, fit for Pharaoh himself. Now, just picture this for a moment. White baskets, fine pastries, it all sounds pretty positive on the surface. It speaks of his profession, his identity. This is what he does. He's the chief baker. You can almost feel his hope building as he describes the scene. He's probably thinking, 3 baskets, 3 days? Maybe I'll be back in the palace bakery, serving Pharaoh, just like before. But then, the dream takes a very dark turn. He continues, but the birds came and were eating the baked goods out of the basket on my head. This is where the atmosphere shifts dramatically. These aren't just any birds. The story implies they are aggressive, perhaps birds of prey. They are not just taking the bread. They are eating it directly from the basket on his head, a place of honor and personal connection. He can't stop them. There's a sense of helplessness, of violation. The very thing he is offering, his craft, his service to Pharaoh, is being consumed and defiled by these creatures before it can even reach its destination. It's a powerful and disturbing image. The dream that started with the promise of restoration has become a nightmare of being plundered and powerless. Now everyone turns to Joseph. The cupbearer is still basking in the glow of his good news. The baker is waiting, his face a mixture of hope and anxiety. And Joseph ... his expression changes. The story tells us his face falls. He understands the symbolism immediately, and it's not good. This is the moment of truth, and it's a heavy one. Joseph is not just a dream teller. He's a prophet of God, and he has a responsibility to speak the truth, no matter how difficult it is. He looks at the baker, not with cold detachment, but with what the text implies is deep pity. He knows the devastating message he is about to deliver. With a quiet, somber voice, Joseph begins the interpretation. He starts the same way he did with the cupbearer. This is the interpretation. The 3 baskets are 3 days. You can imagine the baker's heart leaping for a second. That hopeful smile probably flickers back onto his face. 3 days. Just like the cupbearer, I'm getting out. He's hanging on every word, bracing for the good news he so desperately wants to hear. This is the setup, a final moment of hope before the fall. The narrative tension is incredible. The contrast between the baker's expectation and the reality that Joseph is about to reveal is what makes this moment so powerful and so tragic. And then, Joseph delivers the devastating blow. He continues, within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift off your head and hang you on a tree, and the birds will eat your flesh from you. Just let that sink in. The silence in that cell must have been deafening. The baker's face, once hopeful, turns pale with horror. The symbolism is brutal and direct. The lifting up isn't a restoration of position, but a gruesome execution. The birds in the dream weren't just eating the bread. They were a foreshadowing of birds of prey feasting on his own body. The dream was a direct prophecy of his horrific end. This scene is a masterclass in storytelling and reveals so much about the nature of truth in prophecy. Joseph doesn't soften the blow. He doesn't lie to make the baker feel better for a few more days. He delivers the unvarnished, terrible truth that was given to him. This speaks volumes about his integrity and his role as a messenger. He is a conduit for a divine message, not a fortune teller trying to win favor. It's a harsh reality, but it's the reality. For the baker, his dream of freedom becomes a prophecy of his demise. For us, it's a stark reminder that not all signs point to a happy ending, and that sometimes the truth is the hardest thing to hear. Let's think about the contrast here. Two men in the same prison, two dreams about the number 3, two interpretations from the same man. One dream leads to life and restoration, the other to death and disgrace. This duality is a central theme in the story. It highlights the sovereign nature of the events unfolding. It's not about what seems fair or what we might hope for. The cupbearer is saved, the baker is condemned, and Joseph is the one left in the middle, holding the weight of both their fates in his words. And what about Joseph's emotional state? Imagine the burden. He's just given one man the best news of his life, and another man a death sentence. He does it with compassion, with pity, but also with an unshakable commitment to the truth. This moment further shapes him, preparing him for the immense responsibilities he will soon face as a ruler in Egypt. He's learning that leadership isn't just about power and strategy. It's also about bearing difficult truths and navigating the complexities of human hope and despair. This scene is so much more than just a dream interpretation. It's a profound look at fate, truth, and the painful realities of life. Thank you so much for joining me on this exploration today. It's a heavy topic, but one that is incredibly rich with meaning. If you found this breakdown insightful, please give this video a like and subscribe for more deep dives into these timeless stories. Let me know your thoughts on this scene in the comments below. Until next time, take care. 3 days passed. The air in the palace buzzed with excitement and anticipation. It was Pharaoh's birthday, a day of grand celebration across the entire land of Egypt. Inside the magnificent halls, a feast of epic proportions was underway. Tables groaned under the weight of the most exquisite foods imaginable: roasted meats, sweet fruits, delicate cakes, and every delicacy the kingdom had to offer. The sound of music and joyous laughter filled the vast chambers, echoing off the gilded walls and towering pillars. Courtiers in their finest silks and jewels mingled, their faces bright with celebration. At the head of it all, seated on his golden throne, was Pharaoh himself, a benevolent smile on his face as he surveyed the splendor of his court. The entire palace was a whirlwind of color, sound, and festivity. By Pharaoh's side, a familiar figure moved with practiced grace. It was the chief cupbearer, but he was not the man we last saw in the darkness of the prison. Today, he was restored to his former glory, dressed in immaculate white robes, a golden sash tied around his waist. His face, once etched with worry and despair, was now clear and content. He held a golden pitcher, and with a steady hand, he poured a stream of rich, dark wine into Pharaoh's ornate cup. He smiled, his heart filled with relief and gratitude. His dream had come true, just as the young Hebrew man in the dungeon had foretold. He was free. He was back in his position of honor, serving the most powerful man in the world. As he stood there, basking in the warmth and light of the palace, the memory of the prison and the 2 men he left behind seemed like a distant, fading nightmare. He had promised to remember Joseph, but in the overwhelming joy of his own deliverance, the promise was forgotten, tucked away in the back of his mind. But as the celebration reached its peak inside the palace walls, a very different scene was unfolding just outside the city. The sun beat down on a lonely, dusty hill. There were no feasts here, no music, no laughter. Only a grim silence broken by the shuffling of feet and the harsh commands of guards. The chief baker was being led away from the city, his hands bound. The fine clothes he once wore were gone, replaced by the rough tunic of a condemned man. His face was a mask of sheer terror and disbelief. Hope had been cruelly snatched away. Just 3 days ago, he too had a dream. A dream he hoped would lead him back to the warmth of his ovens and the respect of his position. But the interpretation he received was not one of release, but of doom. The guards were merciless, dragging him towards the gallows that stood stark against the sky. His pleas and cries went unheard, lost in the vast, indifferent landscape. The dream and its dreadful prophecy had come to pass. Everything happened exactly as Joseph had said. One man was restored to life and honor, while the other was led to his death. It wasn't a guess, a trick, or a clever reading of circumstances. It was the word of God, spoken through a humble servant in the darkest of places. In the stark contrast between the cupbearer's celebration and the baker's tragic end, we see a powerful truth. God's word is absolute. It is precise. It does not fail. Joseph, though still forgotten his cell, was a conduit for a divine plan that was unfolding with perfect accuracy. He had told the cupbearer, "It is not I. God will give Pharaoh an answer of peace." Joseph knew the source of his insight. He wasn't the hero of the story. He was a messenger. The events of this day were a testament not to Joseph's ability to interpret dreams, but to the sovereign power of God, who holds life and death, freedom and condemnation in his hands. The split in their fates serves as a powerful illustration of divine judgment and mercy. Both men were in the same prison. They both offended Pharaoh, and they both received a prophecy from the same man. Yet their outcomes were worlds apart. The cupbearer was shown mercy. He was lifted up from the pit and restored. The baker faced judgment. He was taken from the world. This isn't just a story about two individuals. It's a reflection of a greater spiritual reality. It shows us that God's plans are intricate and his purposes are sure. While we may not always understand the reasons behind his decisions, why one is taken and another is left, we are shown that his word is infallible. The Lord had a purpose for sparing the cupbearer, a purpose that would soon become clear. And he had a purpose in the baker's fate as well, demonstrating the solemn reality of his declarations. The accuracy of Joseph's prophecies for these two men was a small-scale preview, a crucial piece of evidence that would soon be needed on a much grander stage. Back in the prison, Joseph waited. He didn't know the specifics of what was happening in the palace or on the hill. He only had the word God had given him. He had placed his trust in that word, and he had placed a sliver of hope in the cupbearer's promise. As the sun set on Pharaoh's birthday, Joseph remained in chains, seemingly forgotten by the world. But he was not forgotten by God. The events of this day, though they brought him no immediate relief, were a critical part of a much larger story. God was at work, meticulously arranging every detail. The restoration of the cupbearer was not just about the cupbearer himself. It was about placing a key witness back in the court of Pharaoh, a witness who, at the perfect moment, would remember a young Hebrew man in a dungeon who could interpret dreams. The prophecy's fulfillment was the seal of authenticity on Joseph's gift, a gift that would soon be called upon to save not just a nation, but the entire world from starvation. For now, Joseph's part was to wait, to continue trusting in the dark, knowing that the God who had spoken so clearly about the cupbearer and the baker held his own future in his hands as well. The stage was being set for an even greater revelation of God's power and wisdom. Thank you so much for watching. We're getting to a major turning point in Joseph's story, and you won't want to miss what happens next. If this series is speaking to you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. Your support helps us continue to share these powerful stories. Join us next time as we see how a forgotten promise becomes the key to a nation's survival. See you then.